spring, both my mom and my sister got very into doing yoga, and every night they would put a YouTube video on the television in our living room, and for around 40 minutes they would do yoga with this yoga instructor on the television. And every night they would say, Madeline, join us. And one day they finally convinced me. And one, I was very bad because I'm very inflexible. And two, I started feeling kind of uncomfortable because at the end, for around 1 minute, they sat crisscross applesauce. They put their hands like this and they started chanting, and I was like, that's weird. And then at the very end, they put their hands like this over their heart and they bowed to the television and they said, Namaste. And I asked them, what does that mean? And they said, we don't know, it's just part of the video. And I felt kind of like maybe this had some sort of religious tie to it. And I was wondering really, what is yoga anyways, and where does it come from, and why is it so popular in the US, and does it conflict with my beliefs in my Christianity? So I did some research. The word yoga comes from ancient Sanskrit, which is an Indo-European language that the Vedas used, and it means to yoke or to unite. And this can mean the union of your mind and your body and your soul, or your breath in your body, or the union of your mortal self with the divine equivalent of yourself, or the union of you and the universe, or your creator, or the God that you worship. Historically, the goal of all yoga was to reach something called enlightenment, which is the state of mind that was believed where you could find truth about yourself and the universe and the divine realm. But in modern times, yoga usually refers to hatha yoga, or the physical aspect of yoga, which aims to strengthen or relax your body. But aspects of trying to strengthen or empty your mind to reach like a heightened state is also found in yoga studios across the country. So now I know what yoga is, but where did it come from? Actually, yoga is so old that no one knows where it originated. All that is known is that it was passed down from teacher to student orally for generations until it was finally written down in the Rig Veda, an ancient sacred Hindu text. Another text called the Bhagavad Gita was the first spiritual text to declare that anyone could be enlightened through yoga. The goal of the text was to guide others to gain mastery over their mind and emotions, and included advice on spiritual growth. The end goal was to reach a state of ecstasy where one transcends themselves, experiences peace, and realizes their connection to the divine. According to an article by Bari, an international yoga instructor who learned his practice from Himalayan monks, says that tantric yogis believed that our bodies were the supreme, sacred, and ultimate vessels to enlightenment, and therefore should be cherished just as highly as God, and that they removed the idea that we were even separate from God. These yogis attempted to meditate for 10 hours a day or more, and obviously their bodies could not withstand this. So this is where the popular Hatha yoga was born. The yogis imitated things that they saw in nature in order to build strength and stamina to withstand extended hours of meditation. Hence, downward dog, tree pose, the yoga that you see in American culture today. But how did a South Asian religious practice change the American fitness scene? Well, yoga was truly introduced to the United States in 1893 when a Hindu monk named Swami Vivekananda spoke at an interfaith conference in Chicago. He was received very well and continued to write books and travel teaching, but his teaching was very focused on individual power and control of your body and mind, and he would often say, stand as a rock, you are indestructible, which is very different from the concept of today's yoga of being flexible in both body and thought. In the early 20th century, Indian immigrants traveled the country teaching yoga, and in the 1960s, the rise of television helped spread yoga, along with hippie counterculture and the New Age movement. In the 1980s and 90s, with the rise of the fitness industry, yoga became a part of people's fitness routines across the country, leading to the billion-dollar yoga industry that we see today. Today, about 30 million Americans practice yoga on a regular basis, and the number is growing. But why? Well, today, most people do yoga to relieve stress or to relax, but also for the scientifically proven health benefits. According to Medical News Today, practicing Hatha yoga has been shown to decrease anxiety by decreasing cortisol, which is a stress hormone. Other studies have shown it to reduce a person's risk of heart disease, to improve their brain functions, their mood regulations, their memory. It can also reduce back pain. And while there is no research to support it, some claim that yoga can literally improve a person's immune system and help them fight against the coronavirus. So now we return to my original question. Is it wrong of me as a Christian to practice yoga? Am I just taking care of my body, or am I literally practicing Hinduism when I watch yoga videos with my sister? Well, there are obviously health benefits, but Christians should be careful. Bhaira, the yoga instructor who learned from the Himalayan monks, says visit any yoga studio around the world and you will likely find a teacher that references a quiet mind or cultivates a meditation practice in the beginning or end of class. It is hard to separate yoga from its roots. And honestly, why would we want to? Well, there are many reasons that Christians would want to. For example, the idea of namaste is the idea that you are acknowledging that there's some divine part of your spirit and you are connecting with someone else's divine spirit, which is very against Christian belief that God is the only divine being and that we are just mortals. Also, the practice of chanting like my sister and my mom were, stems from Hindu and Buddhist belief that sound was part of the creation of the world, which is very against Christian beliefs on creation. Even if one doesn't have religious intention, through repetition or chanting or other traditional yoga practices, one may find that they internalize some of these Hindu beliefs. Even practicing Hindus, not just paranoid Christians, will admit this. Sheetal Shah, a member of the Hindu American Foundation, says, someone raised in an exclusivist tradition like Islam or Christianity who becomes very interested in yoga may eventually experience some conflict with their religious beliefs. After learning about its origins and the religious aspects, but also the medical benefits, I have to agree with that gut feeling I had at the very beginning of this, that I probably should be careful as a Christian practicing yoga, but that doesn't mean I should stop myself from enjoying the medical benefits of yoga. There are classes and YouTube videos that focus just on the physical and not the spiritual aspects of yoga. And it's really cool to think that a religious practice, literally as old as time, has revolutionized American fitness. Thank you.